putting my growth out onto the internet or just into audio, and for this to be forever. That's one thing that I get from the music industry, is that no matter what you do, no matter what impact you have, the true impact comes from something you left behind to make this world a better place. And if it's music, if it's podcasting, if it's a foundation that we started, if it's anything, it's like, that's everything to me. That's what I ultimately want at the end of this day, at the end of this life of mine, because we're here for a very short period of time. So I don't know. I rambled, and I love having breakthrough moments, and I love uncovering the breakthrough moments, even if it's me going in a loop to try to figure it out deeper, because that's what it kind of takes sometimes, is to loop. Just keep looping. Allow the loop. Be okay with the loop. Be one with loop. That's the name of this episode. Be one with loop.
Yeah, I mean, everything is cycles. And once you recognize that it is, and you can allow yourself to be okay with each part of the cycle, you can start to learn the lessons that the cycle is gifting you with.
Yeah.
And sometimes they feel really good, and sometimes they feel really bad. And that's how you know what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah, and it, the problem I have with a lot of people in society, and even myself, is that a lot of people know these things. They know that they need to change, or they need to do this, or they have the answers already. It's just the act of doing it. And that's the lack.
Embodying is difficult because it requires consistent conscious awareness.
But I think a lot of it comes from guilt, too. A lot of it comes from other people guilting other people, or you feeling guilty about that, or about doing something, or about making that leap of faith. Because a lot of it stems from, if you just, I think Mark Cuban says it, where if you're like, oh no, Chris DiStefano is another comedian. He said, if you're just like, he has this thing called Anxiety Tuesdays. If you're feeling fucking anxiety and you feel like you cannot move, just get up and go go and do something. Just take any step. If I'm working on music and I'm frozen, literally frozen in time, I can't I don't even know what to do. I'm just looking at the screen. Just start pressing notes. Just start doing this. Just start doing that, because that's where the inspiration strikes.
And this is where we're going to come back to scheduling.
Full circle.
Scheduling gives you the container to meet your needs so you can take action on the things that you want.
Okay.
Taking action is incredibly important. You're not going anywhere. You're spinning your wheels if you're not taking action. And that means taking action on things like getting proper rest, getting proper hydration, getting proper nutrition. If you're not taking actions in those directions, you're not setting yourself up to be able to take action in other directions. So things like building your business or building a skill. You need all of the components, and scheduling gives your brain the ability to take action on all of them consistently.
I mean, we're the only species on this earth that can make a decision to fix the situation. I mean, it's a very broad very, very broad statement. And that is a powerful statement as well. I just, I know I'm going to go home. I'm going to be, stuck in time for a little bit. But when I'm stuck in time like that, or, say I go home and I don't do nothing, but I just lay on the couch, I'll end up telling myself, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to do this for the first 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, man, I'm such a bum. What am I doing? I need to do this. I need to do that.
You're shaming yourself.
And then,
judging.
Right. And then something will click, and I'll be like, I'm going to allow myself to do this. Let's do it the proper way.
Do you ever get curious about it and ask yourself, well, why do I feel like I'm doing this right now? Maybe I need this.
Yeah, but I don't. yeah, like I get to that point of I need this, like, and that's when I allow myself to say, let's do it the proper way. If I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna lay down on my back, put my legs up on the couch to push some blood flow back to my heart, to just let my back flatten on the ground the proper way, and just like roll my neck. I'll like do some like lower back stretching, and then I'll end up just going into a meditative state, put some music on, I might throw my headphones on, and I'll doze off for 10-15 minutes. But I dozed off starting in a meditative state, and I wake up fucking groggy as hell. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to be useless. And like I just start moving a little bit, start taking little bits of action by just getting up and walking to the kitchen, getting a drink of water. And then boom, out of nowhere, that reset happens. And I'm just like, I get down to the computer and I'm just get locked in and I just fucking go. And it took me years to get to that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to take people years.
Where was your starting point?
It was sitting on that beach, on the river beach.
So what I mean is, in that scenario,
Oh,
was there a time
I
where
went back far.
you would come in and lay on the couch, and instead of sitting with and facing the judgment that you were giving yourself and recognizing that you didn't have to give that to yourself, you could allow yourself to rest, and you chose to rest productively? There was a time where you avoided that self-judgment and that guilt, and you distracted, and you probably got on your phone, and you ended up staying on that couch on your phone for hours on end.
TikTok don't stop. Yeah.
So taking that moment to really face the self-judgment and face the guilt and say, hey, I don't have to feel this way. It's okay that I'm resting. I'm allowed to rest. I deserve to rest. And if I'm going to rest, I'm going to rest the best damn way I can, using all of my tools.
And I think that's a powerful thing too, that if you're feeling sad, I've started telling myself, if I'm angry about something, I'm angry at my mother because we don't get along sometimes. I'll tell myself, you know what? Be angry at her. Go ahead. Be angry at her. Go ahead. It's like essentially I'm just like egging myself on. Go ahead. Be angry at her. See what happens. Go ahead. Do it.
Well, you're calling out the emotion for what it is. You're allowing yourself the space to feel it so that you can peel it back and understand what's beneath it. Because we know anger is a secondary emotion.
Yeah.
But you never get to see what's under that emotion if you don't let yourself feel it. If you suppress it, it stays anger and it stores in the body. And it adds to subconscious patterning of reactive behavior.
The way you word, like, as you're saying that, I'm wording things so, like, dummy, in, like, dummy ways. Like, you what did you say? And I'm just like, God, I'm losing it. I'm losing control right now. And I know I am, because I just think we should end it. We're at, I think, 40 minutes. This was a great, we just started it back up, recording a second episode on the same day, and I think this was a very effective podcast.
Yeah.
It would be stupid to put all 2 hours of this out. Is that 2 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus. But this is going to be good content, I think. I think this is a very impactful conversation. Have you gone and looked at our YouTube, or have you noticed anything on the social media aspect that maybe we need to do more of, or maybe we need to start doing, or take this away or take that away? Do you like my intro? I love my intro.
I like the intro.
Ding ding.
I think right now I'm so, like, you have a lot more experience in producing content in general. And I'm still very much trying to get my shit together.
I think it's together. I just think I think it all goes back to that loop where you might be trying to find an answer to something, and the answer is always right in front of you. But it's just like, I feel like you're in a position where you're like, I want to dig deeper. I want to keep going deeper here because this is going to benefit me. And I think that's what inspires me.
I am working really, really hard to get to a point where I'm consistently taking action.
Yeah.
And that requires digging through a lot of old patterning. And I hit a very, very, very deep root after that cleanse. And the snapback was a real bitch.
Yeah.
But
Life's a bitch.
I am through it. And now I'm back to using my tools.
You're back to where you're back to the same fucking balance beam.
Back at the beginning
God
of the loop.
Damn it!
Back at the beginning of the loop. But you know what? The beauty of this loop is that it's spiraling upward instead of downward now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the practice of just getting up, dancing a little bit, or singing a little bit, or just going outside, sitting in the sun for a little bit, that's where that practice comes into play. Because once you stack the same thing over and over and over again, I had a YouTube video that just popped 600 views naturally, a beat that I put out, and it obviously affected the culture and the community in a very little way, but like that's from me consistently putting beats out, consistently, and keep telling myself, I know my time's coming, my time's gonna come, everything's just gonna work out, and it always does. And yeah, it's just a God, this is a whole nother thing we can get into, but I think we got to wrap it up. So let's wrap it up. I did want to go over another exercise that I want to do and I haven't done yet, just real quick. So so you just write on fucking computer paper in big letters, like for instance, be grateful, in like different colors. You like juice it up a little bit, make it artsy, and you fucking tape it to your fucking mirror in the bathroom. Because where's the place you go every single day? Your fucking bathroom. And you always want to look at yourself, post it right on the mirror. So like I have just a quick little list of things that I want to write down, and put taped to my mirror in the bathroom. Is what is your intention? Another one is I am the greatest entrepreneur, and that is to just keep my mind on the same dream, let's call it. Another one is I am grateful. Just three more. Here's a long one. 2022 will be the year that changes my whole life's path to secure and financially free life. Be and do me always. Healthy gut, healthy life. So like, what?
Keep going.
That was it for now.
Okay. So it's kind of cool because this week we're kind of going over the most important question.
Yep.
And for me, currently, my most important question that I have to ask myself before doing every task is this what I really want to be doing?
And so write that down on a fucking piece of computer paper in different colors, because I know you like pens, and you have a bunch of different colored pens, and you have a bunch of different art stuff, and post that bitch right on the fucking mirror. Because that is you're training your subconscious mind to do that. And I know this is a powerful fucking thing to do.
Now, I actually write on my mirrors with whiteboard markers.
Yeah.
And I use gratitude actually to propel myself. So where I used to be doing a gratitude practice to, at the end of each day, call attention to all of the things that I was grateful for. And what that did is it set my brain up to start looking for patterns of things to be grateful for, which means they would, multiply throughout the weeks, months. And now I'm using gratitude to actually sort of manifest behavior from myself. So things that I want to be or want to be doing, I will write my gratitude statements on my mirrors with that. So instead of, I'm grateful that I, managed to make good choices in my nutrition today.
Yeah.
Now I go to my mirror each morning and I see I am grateful that I consistently choose to fuel my body for my highest benefit.
Right. You're leveling up that statement
Yes.
from where it started.
So it's preemptive gratitude. So I'm actually pre-inputting gratitude for the things that I want to be doing, not just the things that I already had done.
You know what's look, this is going to be I'm just going to create this next we're going to have 3 videos from this audio because I want to kind of grow off this. That when I wrote my goals down in 2019, 2020, 2018, like that's when I was heavily writing. And I remember writing I want to I want to own a house on a farm and do this and do that. I want to have a girlfriend, like I want to have a family one day. And like the girlfriend came quick after that. Like after say about a year. We just actually celebrated our 5 years. So that's cool. And we did absolutely nothing. And like she was okay with it, I'm okay with it. We're just like, all right. I said we'll see you in another 5. And so that was a very I kind of stopped. Like I stopped writing. This is probably a breakthrough moment right now. I stopped writing and started to really not write anymore because I feel like I accomplished all my goals, but I didn't. And so I kind of just stopped at the whole girlfriend thing. And so it's like I do need to go back and like write. I know physically writing on a piece of paper does the best thing for me, but efficiently, I'm better off writing in my notes on my phone. And I think that's the struggle I've been dealing with lately is not taking action on either of them. Because, I mean, I've been writing little notes here and there, and like I wrote some ideas down for the pod. It's the... So I've been at this for years of saying I'm grateful. I get, when I'm feeling sad or down or I'm just not in a good headspace, I'll start going through why I'm grateful. Grateful I have a great family. I'm grateful that I get to get up every day and do what I'm doing. Like if I'm driving or delivering food, like I'm just, even if I don't like it, I'm still grateful for it. And so it's taken me years to train that, but I still feel like I haven't progressed. But in reality, I have progressed. Maybe not physically. The way my life looks right now, I'm like, on paper, it ain't right. It ain't good. But morally, which I think is the most important thing, I think morally, I've grown so much. And I need to pat myself on my back, and I need to celebrate that.
Yes.
Because I think that's what also comes with putting the work in and just constantly putting the work in, but not seeing the results you want to see. But recognizing that there are results and celebrating those results is the biggest fucking key thing of them all.
Yeah. And you have to learn to celebrate your small wins.
Right.
Because you're going to have a whole lot more of those than you are going to recognize big wins. Big wins are for other people to celebrate with you. But you won't get there unless you're celebrating your small wins for yourself.
It's funny. This brings me back to my friends who I've been disconnected from. There was a scenario where my buddy got a new job, and he was like very proud of it, and he wanted everybody to go out to the bar and celebrate it. And like, it just kind of became this reoccurring thing with them that I just wouldn't. I would always say no to going out or to doing this. And I've said to them before, they use it as fuel. I'm like, I'll go out and celebrate something. But it just so happened the day and the time he wanted to go celebrate something, I already had plans. And sorry, but family trumps your celebration. No, whatever. I can go deeper, but and so like they use that as fuel against me. And that's when like the self-pity comes into play, and then I start feeling guilty and yada yada yada. And it took me years to overcome that and to just let go of that relationship. I don't think I told you, but I had a good friend, my best friend I grew up with. I may have told you pieces of it. He didn't invite my girlfriend because he had relations with my girlfriends for 2 weeks. They fucked around a little bit. They didn't have sex. They realized that they're better off being friends. And then he was the fucking Cupid and got us to meet. And now, me and her have been in this 5-year relationship. He didn't invite me to the wedding. And that's when our friendship ended. Because I'm like, so you're going to invite me to be your best man at your wedding. And you're not going to invite my girlfriend can't come because you used to barely have a relationship with her. I mean, that's childish. And so it just was this whole thing for so long. And all of these feelings were coming out of like anger. And he was like telling me how he's like, for years I dealt with your shit. And like, you'd always make me angry and you'd always argue with me and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, that's been our relationship since the beginning. Nothing's changed. I haven't changed. He changed. And, it all, regardless of the situation, he moved away and he disconnected from literally everybody. And I would say I was his last friendship from here, from where the town we grew up in. And that was one of the last things I said to him. I said, remember where you came from. Remember your roots. Remember that those moments in your life where we used to hang out. We used to sleep in his basement because it was really dark until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we want to know what time it is. We go, oh, God, where the fuck are we? We just stay up, play video games all night. And we'd fuck with each other. It was an honest, like, best friend relationship. And it's a shame that it all went downhill, all because of, so-called girlfriend. But I don't think it was. I think he was influenced in a different way. And I think he's never religious, but he started recently talking about him becoming, like, closer to God. And I'm like, all right, you're still finding God here. It might take some years to reconnect, but I still believe in this friendship. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Also, sometimes when you have really deep, long friendships like that, especially friendships that are developed in childhood, when you start growing apart, there's a lot of guilt. There's this feeling of like, we're all afraid of abandonment.
Yeah.
But the other side of that coin is none of us wants to be the abandoner. Because we know what it feels like to be abandoned. And when you feel yourself growing away from someone, sometimes it's easier to let that person hate you than it is to just say, we're just not going to be connected anymore.
Right.
It's really hard to put on your grown-up pants and have the conversation of, hey, I know we've been close for all this time, and it doesn't diminish the love I have for you, but we're not going to be close anymore.
And you know what? He told me that over the phone. He said, because I remember, like, we were just texting each other, and, like, it was just getting heated up. And I said, fuck this. I'm calling him. We have to talk this out, because I'm not going to let a friendship go away like this. And he's like, I already accepted the fact. Like, I already went through my emotions with all of this. I don't want to be a part of, he talked really negatively towards me and about my life and about my situation. Regardless of, like, a lot of it with my friends, it's all financial. It's who has the bigger fucking dick here. And it drives me crazy because I may not have become a doctor. I may have not become a financial advisor. I might be not living this fucking comfortable, safe life. I'm living a totally different life, but it hasn't changed the way I live. The way we enjoy our friendships was not going to a bar and going to spend money or going here. It was going to take a walk in the woods. It was going to ride our bikes together. It was going to do this. It was going to do that. And that's what happened to all my friendships recently, it's all went away. It's all went away because I don't fit in their fucking hierarchy anymore, and I'm getting looked down upon because I have less money than most people, than a lot of people. But the reality is I'm managing, I'm still getting by, and I'm still making things work, but also I'm putting all of my energy into creating a business, into creating an online business, and into becoming an entrepreneur for it to all pay off one day. And I know MGK says it in a lyric that I want to get my revenge through success.
I want to offer you this. Do you think that you would have released those relationships had they not soured?
No.
And do you think that the path you were on would have allowed you the time and energy to devote to those relationships while you have all of these other projects that you need to devote your time and energy to?
Say that again. Say that last part again.
Had you not let go of those relationships,
Oh, the energy put into this wouldn't be there. Yes, that's correct.
so the gift of the souring of those relationships was the time and energy to put into yourself.
Right, the
To get
silver
alone,
lining.
to find the silence for massive growth.
And that's the thing that I've had to come to terms with recently, is that it is, oh, this is actually better for me.
But there's also the potential for the awareness within that box prior to the relationship souring. There was probably some cues that was heading in the direction of disconnection.
It was.
In that relationship. And instead of acknowledging it and sitting with it and having the conversation of this is just not how it's going to go, you ended up getting to a point where those relationships had to dissolve on their own instead of you placing and holding the boundary before it got to that point.
And that's essentially what, I guess, it's a very tricky thing. Like, my defenses went up when you said that, but then also it's like, my one friend said to me, that I have to earn his respect. And that's when I lost all respect for him and realized that me earning respect from him will do nothing for me.
Someone who doesn't freely give respect to everyone and all life is not the energy that you want to be around.
Never.
And he had to reveal that to you for you to let go of the relationship.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, do you have a fucking 15 plus year friendship with people? Do you have anybody in your life that you've had?
I am not lucky in that matter. A lot of my relationships were sabotaged. And while there are people who I've known that long, I've not been connected to them for anywhere near that long. The longest I have been connected to someone, I would say, is probably about 10 years now. And even still, that connection is very sporadic. Very, very sporadic. And I'm actually in this place right now where, like, I'm about to go back to Minnesota and I'm about to be met with the opportunities where a lot of people want to connect with me and they want to see me. And
you're like Garth Brooks coming to town, dude. you're like the, oh my god, she's coming to town.
And there's a lot of people
and that's
that
so cool.
I would love to see. But I also know that my time is limited. And there are things that I want to do for myself in that time that have nothing to do with any of my friendships.
What is going to be the most effective?
So I have to
time to use there.
I have a very real choice in I can blow these people off and they find out that I've been there and come and gone, and then they're pissed at me, and then we never talk again, and I lose the connection. And yes, that makes space for me to give energy and time to the things I want. But I also can choose to be an adult and have the conversation with them and say, hey, yes, I'm going to be there, but I'm just not going to have the time to reconnect with you here and now. Maybe someday.
Right.
And while I feel really guilty about severing some of those connections, if I can face my own guilt about it, there is a much bigger chance that there will be repair. Really, what it comes down to is I once held the same frequency as some of these friends, and we've gone in different life directions, and I am on a different frequency. And our frequencies no longer jive for my goals.
And so that same thing you're saying is the same thing that happened to me with, I guess, my used to be best friend. That was him. He essentially said that to me, but it was in a very aggressive take at it, which just was such a, it just turned into this whole thing. My mother got involved.
Mm.
That's where it went over the fucking board. That's where the relationship really got severed. And my mother overstepped, and it's distanced me from my mother more than it's distanced me from my mother because of that. But not in a bad way, just in a way where I know
a boundary.
I know I can't go to my, when you have people in your life you talk to about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go to my mom no more about any relationship in my life, because everything that I talk to her about is all about, why don't you do this instead of this? Why don't you treat this person this way? Why don't you go get this for this person? It's no, I don't want any of that. I don't want no fucking help. So that's the
Your mom is a fixer.
Oh yeah.
And she can't help but fix. And so you recognize that in her, and you recognize that when you're going to someone to talk about a relationship, you're not looking for it to be fixed, you're looking to be supported.
Yeah.
And she does not offer you that by instinct.
No.
And so it's okay that she's not that person for that job. But when you have a problem that needs fixing and you need problem solving, she's the one to go to.
It's hard to be a sensitive person and take everything to heart. Like that screws me up, the fact that I can't go to my mom about certain things, when there's a lot of times where I used to go to your dad about a lot of things, and I stop myself. Like I will write a text out to him or to anybody, to certain people, and I'll delete it. I'll be like, I can't share this with this person because they're probably not on the right frequency as me, and the energy's going to be different, and they're going to interpret this a different way. Because I've done that before, where I've sent text messages out, I'm feeling fucking good, and like I'll call somebody just to chat to somebody because I'm feeling good, and like my mood gets brought down instantly. I go the total opposite direction I wanted to go. And that's where self-reliance comes into play, and being self-reliant is a good and bad thing.
But I think it's natural for us to want community. We want to celebrate with other people. We want to be supported by other people. That's normal. It's really about finding the right people for it. And that's really, that's one of the things I absolutely love about my community that I found in LLT. And, we don't necessarily talk every day, but when I am really needing support, half the time, I don't even have to say anything. They just contact me for something else, and we're just on the same frequency in a way that is,
the universe does it for you.
Yes.
You don't got to think about it.
Yeah.
and so that's what I was gonna say. I thought of, community is more impactful when you don't know that person too well. When you go outside of your family or you go outside of your circle, community is much stronger.
I think community, it's a different type of community. It's a community with a single like driven purpose. Like my LLT community is built around growth and really just becoming the best version of yourself humanly possible, and finding every avenue and every like language to describe and reinforce those things. And so when we go into conversations, we know that that's the goal. That's everyone in the group's goal is growth. Yeah. And
you guys all have the same motive.
Withhold judgment. Yeah. And it's the same, like, I was talking to somebody about, like, why the Beatles were so influential. Because did you know they only made music for a total of 12 years?
Yeah, it wasn't long. And, like, most of their, like, hits were made in, like, 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Which with most hits are made in.
But they also, like, they were super aggressive about learning music. Like, they would get on a bus and drive for hours just to go learn a new chord.
Yeah.
And they had a single driven purpose to create music, and to and also you notice as they progress over the years, they have the same like message. It doesn't matter who's writing the song. Like, they have a unified message that they want to share with the world. They have a unified purpose, especially in their last album where they're all fighting with each other and they have legal battles with each other, and they were still able to create an album because when they came together, they had that single driven purpose and desire.
They kept politics out of it.
Yeah, and so they were able to approach their music together and release the judgment that they had placed on each other in their lives outside of the music. Yeah. In order to create something. And that's the kind of community that everybody needs. And the problem is this community doesn't find you, you find it. And it takes time, and it takes really getting to know yourself and knowing what you want.
One thing I love about my gaming community that we're building and that I've already had, it's already established, is that there's none of that. There's no judgment. We're all there, regardless of our lives. We're all there playing the same game or just chatting along. And there's no judgment. And that's the biggest thing I get from those friends, is that I can be my authentic self and real self and just not have to fucking deal with the bullshit that comes after or whatever it is.
There's no expectations of you fulfilling a role other than the role that you decided upon within the parameters of your goal.
Yeah. I mean, half the time there's no goal when I go on to Discord and I start bantering and talking with all those guys.
Well, I mean,
there's always a goal to laugh.
Your goal is to play the game.
My goal is to make everybody laugh. That's what I want to do at the end of the day. Yeah. Look, I think we got to wrap it up. We just did 3 podcasts. I'm going to split it up. I'm going to end this with 2 outros because I'm going to take one of the outros for another thing. I guess I can. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, thank you guys so much for listening to Spotlight. We hope you guys got some value out of this conversation. It's really hard for us to get together. And so I hope the value that we can present to you is all worth it. So thank you. Thank you guys. Love. Have a good fucking day. Good week. Good month. Good rest of your life. I mean, we'll see each other soon. We'll record more, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Ciao!